let's take this bike out for a ride and talk about the Motone parts I put on it. Yeah, that's a nice ride. Not too often you get to go down this road without any traffic in front of you. Not pushing it, getting a feel for the bike. Handles really well. Rides like a well-suspended sport bike, actually, nice and firm. So, the Motone mods. First thing, right here. Radiator guard. Simple install, 3 screws behind to bolt that bracket on, 3 screws behind, bolt that on. They're small Phillips, so be sure to use the right size Phillips screwdriver. You got some stainless Phillips screws from Motone to bolt it onto the radiator that are longer than the stock screws on there. I went down to my local Ace Hardware, got some longer ones. I think the stock screws that were on there from Triumph were 10 in length, and I went up to I believe it was 16. Next mod was the radiator cap, also Motone. I did have an issue with it. The gasket that came on this wasn't letting the tank breathe, the vent work. Third Motone H-bomb pipes, slash cut drag pipes, the Motone H-bombs. They do have an internal baffle. It's a perforated straight through baffle, so they really don't do much, very, very little. But these pipes are quieter than, the bike is quieter than some of the Harleys I've had. I can't complain about the sound. Sounds really nice. In fact, with them down low versus the high slash cuts on my Scrambler, they sound quieter to me. Now, those Guy Martin slash cuts, they do have a very nice baffle system in there, a dB killer, but still loud. You know, it's up pretty close to your ear, so these down here sound quieter. So, you know, you could ride all day with them. I am not going to put the dB killers in there. They sound good. Like I said, that's quieter than some of the Harleys I've owned. But nice day to get out here, get to see what these pipes sound like on the road. So I was mostly through here, I was mostly in second gear. The way this bike's geared, 45-mile-an-hour speed limit through these twists, you just leave it in second gear. Every now and then I'll click it into third just to drop the RPMs, but the RPMs are staying pretty low the whole time. So yeah, I like these pipes. I like these pipes. This was a good choice for the pipes to go with. So more riding, get more used to the bike, figure out my lean angles more on this, and just spend some time on it. Left the house with 160 miles on it. Alright, well, let's turn this back towards the house here and enjoy this road a little more. Well, that was a nice first ride with these pipes on here. I like the way the bike's turned out with these Motone parts. So, starting my thoughts on the radiator guard. It's very well made. Really like the looks of it. You know, the way it's made and looks wise, I'd definitely give it a 10. But attention to detail, I'd have to drop that down to a 9, seeing as the guard's black radiator. But the screws that they give you to replace the short screws that are on the radiator from Triumph, instead of giving you black screws for that, they give you stainless Phillips head screws. So I dropped that down to a 9 for attention to detail. And I said earlier, I did replace the screws with some black ones and black washers that I picked up at Ace Hardware. The fuel cap, definitely a 10 on looks. The way it fits is a 10. But I'd have to give it a 7 on attention to detail, because some people have no issues with the fuel tanks building up pressures on the cap, and some do. So I had the issue. So somewhere there's a tolerance issue. The pipes, definitely give it a 10 on the looks. The welds, everything looks great. The sound without the dB killers, you know, it sounds good going down the road. It's not too loud. You've got this little bit of baffle in there, perforated baffle, but it's straight through. And it does have nice sound. It's a deeper sound than what's on the Scrambler. The Scrambler's a little higher pitch sound, and even with the baffles on that, the Scrambler sounds sharper. But I just measured both pipes. They're both 1 3/4, and I'd say the difference is in the motor. You know, you've got that high torque motor in this bike, and the Scrambler's got the high power motor, so that probably makes a bit difference in the sound of the exhaust. Well, that's definitely got more power than this one does. So there will be some sound difference. Going down the road, it's not too loud. I've had Harleys that were a lot louder. So I'll be also being low versus right up here with the Scrambler. It's also a little quieter for me. Looks, like I said, looks wise and welds, I'd give it a 10. And also some of the changes they made to it. You know, they did bring this up higher. When I first looked at them, I was like, I don't know about it coming up. And you've seen a lot of the other pipes, like from British Customs, their turnouts just come down here, and then I start reading about side stand clearance issues while going around corners. Well, I guess that's why Motone gave it that angle coming up a bit, so the side stand can come up more without scraping on the ground. I haven't had any issues there, but then again, I'm not scraping the foot pegs either. Trying not to ride it too much like a sport bike, still getting the feel for it. Execution, attention to detail, I don't know, I throw it up to tolerance issues in manufacturing, whether it's the manufacturing of the bike or the pipes, but I did put a spacer on the left-hand side, the rear mount, to bring the pipe out just a little bit. That way the side stand would come up all the way and hit the rubber bumper without the little 1/2-inch spacer, the extension on the side stand, where it come off the side stand, that upper bend that you just touched before it came to the rubber bumper. With the 1/2-inch spacer, moving the pipe out, it cleared and it comes all the way up on the bumper. So quick, easy fix. You know, sometimes things like that, tolerance issues, you do have to make small adjustments. And so I'd still give it a 9 on that one. Nothing bad. But overall, I've been pretty happy with the Motone parts. Love the sound of the pipes. Past a motor cop that was going the other way on my ride back, and no issues with him. Like I said, Harleys are a lot louder out here, and sound these 270-degree twins are a lot closer to a Harley now. I always said maybe upset some Triumph guys that I say that Triumphs are the British Harleys. I'll stand by that. They both got their ups and downs in quality, and what the bikes are, they're both retro, so they all got their limitations. So, and then with Triumph going to that 270-degree firing order in these bikes, they're a lot closer to the sound of a Harley, and nothing bad about that. It's got a pleasing note. Yeah. I like what Motone parts did for the bike. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later.